What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the land of RecklessLogicc. Please make sure you guys pop that like button, hit the subscribe button, and please smash the notification bell so do not miss any of my posts from me. Let's get straight into this video. Alrighty, guys, I have a commentary video for you guys. Today, I will be doing a recap of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm gonna have my notes here, and I also have my water because you know my mouth be getting dry. So just take a sip of that bad boy. All right. So this is all just my opinion, what I think, X, Y, and Z. Just a little recap of the whole season. All right, so first thing before we get started, let me give a little disclaimer. My personal disclaimer before I get started is that I understand this is an edited show. I understand that we don't get a chance as the audience, as a viewer, to see everything. So with that being said, I'm going off based off what we have been shown on camera, and also some things that we have been blessed enough to see off camera. You see, my mouth already dry. I don't know why. Water break. All right. First things first, before we get started, this season, I will say, is not the best season for me personally. Now, with Candy speak on it, you actually find out that a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, which in my personal opinion, I believe should have stayed within the episode, and it probably would have brought a lot of light and probably a little bit more insight for why a lot of events happen or X, Y, and Z. So, for one, I think production did not do too much of a good job this season. I don't know what happened this particular season. I felt like it probably had a little bit of hope after hearing everybody's side, everybody's stories, from hearing what went on with Portia and Kenya, why Kenya thought that Portia wasn't, quote unquote, really into activism and stuff like that. The stuff with the text messages and Candy, it's just a lot. And even with Marlo and stuff. So I feel like it would have brought a lot of insight. Now, next thing I'm going to say before I get started is I want to talk about Phaedra's return or alleged return. Now, the thing is about that, I have not heard if that is true or not, but however, it was a little bit of a whisper, rumor, whatever, that she was allegedly coming back or trying to come back. What's my opinion on it? I personally believe that, yes, Phaedra is good for the show. Yes, she would bring drama because she would be getting into she would be getting into it with Candy and Kenya. But however, I don't believe Bravo should bring her back only because of what she did. The reason why I believe that is because it's one thing to say something in the heat of the moment, but it's another thing when you try to push something that's not true that can really ruin somebody's life and really can basically be stuck on them for the rest of their life, especially when it's not true. So I just feel like she should not be brought back. And I do feel like another person should have joined her, but however, that's not up to me. So first things first, I'm going to talk about Cynthia. Now, me personally, I like Cynthia. But I'm a little conflicted when it comes to Cynthia because I may like Cynthia, but the thing is with that, I feel like the question is, does she deserve to come back for next season? Now, I'm a little undecided when it comes to that, only because the fact is that, for one, I feel like I need more from Cynthia. When I say more, I feel like I need her to be a little bit more opinionated, or at least have a little bit more conflict, or a little bit something else. Something else has to give with Cynthia. I would love to see her next season because I personally like Cynthia, but however, I feel like she needs more. But in the same token, like I said before with my disclaimer, I understand this is an edited show. So only God knows she probably did give more, but however, it just didn't make any type of scenes that we get a chance to see. All right. Now let's talk about her husband and the whole wedding thing. Everybody thinks, well, at least I would say a lot of people think, I'm not gonna put everybody together, that the wedding was rushed. They feel like it was rushed. They felt like Cynthia should have waited. But me personally, I felt like she probably did it for yes, she wanted to get married, but I do believe a little bit of influence that she wanted to have it on the show as a storyline. Not saying that she's using her husband fully as a storyline, but however, I felt like since it was part of her life and stuff, felt like she wanted to use that moment. Um, that's all I'm really gonna say about Cynthia. I really don't know if she should come back or not. Be quite honest with you. Now let's talk about Latoya. Now with Latoya, I've had a change of heart when it came down to Latoya, only because in the beginning I wasn't really feeling Latoya. I felt like she kind of did too much. But then as the season progressed and towards the end, I actually like Toya. I like Toya. I want her to come back next season. Um, when she first came, I will say she's a little bit rough around the edges. Um, but I feel like every person who comes on a reality show, especially when that's not what they do, the first season or even probably the second season, a little bit, you're gonna be a little bit rough around the edges because you're still learning the pros and cons and how people may react to you and stuff like that. So I feel like with her, I want her to come back next season and really polish herself for when reality TV. Not saying change herself, but however, polish herself up. And I will explain that a little bit later. The reason I like her is that she's authentic to who she is for the most part. I do believe some things that she did do throughout the season was for show purposes, but however, that is their job, quote unquote. So I do believe some things she did for show purposes, but however, to her core, I do believe that is I do believe that she represented herself authentically. Okay, so okay, this is the whole thing I was gonna say earlier about her being rough around the edge, but her coming back and polishing herself up. I feel like she has to get it. She has to play the game. Now, what do I mean by her playing the game? I mean in terms of playing the reality TV game of I feel like she's too authentic and rough around the edges, and I don't want her to get into it with the other ladies on the show, the veterans. But however, they are able to, I would say, know how to act, quote unquote, on camera, and then make her look like the bad guy or make her look like she's immature just because, quote unquote, she's acting out. And on top of that, when looks like she's acting out of pocket, even if she is in the right, quote unquote. Because since a lot of times the first season they are rough around the edge, they really don't know as much as the veterans know. The veterans can kind of know how to maneuver, so possibly they can look a good way, even though they may be the one wrong behind the scenes. All right, so I do want to tell you back. Now let's get into Drew. Drew, I do not like Drew. I do not want her to come back. Well, I don't want her to come back. At first, I was gonna say that she can possibly come back, but that second season she comes back, she will have to win me over. I'm not gonna lie, I was disappointed with Drew only because when I heard that first got a little glimpse of when she was gonna be on the show, I was kind of excited. I was like, oh, okay, I know who she is. I've seen her in a couple of movies. So I was really excited for Drew. The thing with Drew is that, for one, I think she's a hypocrite, and she tells lies, and I feel like she tries to manipulate the audience. And I'm going to get into all that right now. Now, when it comes to hypocrite, the thing is that she talks about everybody else's marriage. She talks about everybody else's husband. And the thing is that her marriage is not 100% the best or a clean slate on a clean slate. Even if, because some people have speculated that even if that particular storyline with her husband was quote unquote a storyline and for show purposes, that is what you put out to the world. So even when you authentically there's nothing going on with you and your husband, and then you make a rebuttal on the show and the audience is going based off the show, you don't really have room to talk about anybody else's marriage. Just saying. Now when it comes to this whole hypocrite thing, she talked about Kenya, quote unquote, trying to condemn Kenya for wearing Indian costume, but yet she did the exact same thing. So it was stuff like that that really had me little And then when it came down to the whole profit situation, I felt like she was doing way too much. I felt like she was really draining the situation. Now, however, I am one of those type of individuals where, you know, I try not to believe everything that's on camera, because I do know a lot of things happen behind the scenes. But the thing is, I feel like she was just doing too much for what I see right now. But however, next season, if this situation decides to come up again, then if she brings some evidence of why the Latoya allegedly messing with the prophet is messing with her family, then I'll probably, you know, be with her 110% behind her, or at least understand. But right now, yeah, it was a no for me. She's a hypocrite to me when it comes to telling lies. The whole thing when they were on the reunion discussing the whole Bolo situation, what happened at the bachelorette party, I mean the dungeon, yeah. When there was a part in there when they talked about Latoya, allegedly Latoya and Drew kissed, and everybody's sitting there saying, yes, y'all kissed, and Latoya sitting up there, not Latoya, Drew was sitting up there saying, we never kissed, and it's like, girl, everybody there is saying that you guys kissed, and they were there, then 9 times out of 10 you guys kissed. I'm just saying. And back to the whole Indian costume thing. Even when she was confronted about wearing the Indian costume when she was trying to get them Kenya, she basically said, you know, it wasn't a costume party, But then when Candy did her speak on it, it really was a costume party, and they showed the picture and stuff. Now it's different. She said she was at, I believe, a family reunion, family gathering, something like that. And basically had something to do with family. Everybody there was dressed like Indians and stuff. Something along them lines. Don't quote me on that part. But the thing is with that is that the person you were in the picture with wasn't even dressed in Indian attire. They were dressed in like a costume. And you obviously tell it was a costume. So the stuff like that really got on my nerve. Let's see. Now, let's talk about this whole manipulation thing. Now, let's talk about the whole thing about talking about the kids and what Kenya retweeted and stuff like that. One thing I have noticed is that people who are parents, people who have kids, guardians, whenever you mention something about their parenting skills or something about their type of parenting, or you try to critique their parenting, they want to weaponize the idea of you're talking about my child. No, they're not. They're talking about you as a parent. They're not really talking about you as a child. I don't care what anybody says, because I read the retweet of what Kenya said. It had nothing to do with the child himself. It was basically talking about, why, Drew, why are you doing this? Why are you making this child do X, Y, and Z? I personally did not see anything wrong with it in terms of Kenya directly talking about her child. And let's be honest, a lot of people were saying the exact same thing. It just so happened when Kenya said it, they got all on her back or whatever. But, you know, I digress. Let me see. His topic, parents. Okay. Let's talk about, and this back to the manipulation part. She tried to weaponize, you're talking about my child, even though she was not talking about your child. She was talking about your parenting, but you weren't talking about your child. The other part of manipulation is when she tried to attempt to cry. And for me, when people use mortified, that's a trigger word for me, only because I feel like 9 times out of 10 when people use mortified, I feel like they're trying to really push this idea of them being sad. That's me personally. So I was mortified, like, I don't know, it just really rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, girl, you was not really mortified, please. You was not sitting up here really crying because Kenya retweeted something about your parenting, or allegedly, quote unquote, your child. I personally did not believe that. Me personally did. I felt like she was trying to use that moment to manipulate viewers to think, oh my God, Kenya actually did. We actually read the tweet. She wasn't really talking about that lady's child, be honest with you. All right, so let's get into this whole Drew Latoya beef. One thing I do have to say is that I will say Latoya did start the beef. Drew retaliated, but then I will say that I feel like their relationship is weird. They have like this back and forth type of relationship, because one minute they hate each other, trying to kill each other, or they're trying to knock each other's heads off, calling each other bitches, hoes, and sluts. Then the next minute they're over here talking about almost being best friends. And the next thing, in the next minute, they're over here getting down on the coffee table. So I don't know what that is, but they do have a little relationship. What I personally think they really do like each other, me personally. But however, the show has made them kind of put a wall up, quote unquote, because now they have issues because maybe Toya said something. Of course, a little shade for the show, you know, trying to be fun. Like I said, I feel like she did some things for show purposes, did stuff for the show. Drew retaliated. Now they're over here going back and forth because guess what? We have a little bit of a quote unquote enemy on the show. 9 times 10, if it's conflict, they're going to keep you and put you on to next season. So I do believe they really do probably have at least have potential to really like each other, but they have this weird back and forth relationship. So that's my little take on that. Let's talk about Candy. Now, Candy, I would say she's in the sweet spot. She's neutral, quote unquote. I wouldn't mind if they bring Candy back. I actually like Candy. The thing is that I don't dislike Candy, but at the same time, I don't love her. Like, oh my God, I love Candy. I think I have my times when I really, really like Candy. I have times when she like normally just, oh, okay, hey, Candy. I never really, really disliked her, honestly. The thing I will say is that I respect the fact she is a businesswoman. I do respect the fact that she was able to, after Escape, she was able to continue her empire, being able to continue her legacy that she is building. And that's what I'm going to say on the good part. Now, the bad part about Candy, well, I'm going to say another good thing. No, I'm going to do a sandwich first. The bad thing about Candy that I don't like personally is that she stays neutral. And the thing is now here's the thing, it's nothing wrong with staying neutral, but I do feel like sometimes she do be quote unquote capping when it comes to her true feelings, when it comes to other people within the group. Like the whole thing with Portia. I feel like she really doesn't mess or even really get with Portia like that because of the whole situation, and plus the way that Portia, you know, maneuvers. But I feel like Candy just won't say it only because I'm going to say that, you know, I don't really mess with her like that. We're co-workers. We just work together, we want to show together. That's basically what it is when it comes down to Candy. And also, last thing on Candy, because I wanted to end it with a good thing, is that she never lies. I never seen or heard Candy ever tell a lie, or at least been caught in a lie. If she is lying, quote unquote, she's really good at it because she's never been caught. My personal opinion. So not that it makes it kind of, for me, when something comes out of Candy's mouth, I have more of a tendency to believe it 9 times out of 10 because she has a history and a pattern of not lying. Now, and I do want to come back. I wouldn't mind if she comes back, put it that way. Now, let's talk about Portia. Me personally, I do not like Portia. I do not like Portia. When it comes to Portia coming back, I'm a little bit on the undecided. Now, why am I undecided? I'm undecided because I feel like she's risky. I feel like she's risky because the whole situation that happened with Phaedra, her and Candy, you know, those type of things, that's something serious. And you don't know how deep of a trouble, how much trouble you can get yourself into. Water break. Tag it back in. All right, so you don't know how much trouble you're gonna get yourself into when it comes down to that. And then, from my personal opinion, I feel like she hasn't learned from that experience because she still, in my personal opinion, I felt like she still has been telling lies. I felt like she still has been caught, quote unquote, in a couple lies, and I feel like she still hasn't learned because she's still repeating the same habits and doing the exact same pattern of behavior. I really don't like her too much because she tells lies. I feel like she's manipulative, and I feel like, oh my God, forgive me, I ate this gelato, and I feel like she plays victim. Now, I'm getting to the play victim one a little bit later. We'll get into that. Now, the whole thing about her telling lies, we can just name a few. We can talk about, of course, the Candy situation. That's the one mostly everybody knows about. That one. And then we can also talk about the one even more recent. Well, not more recent, but yeah, even more recent. When she went on Instagram Live talking about Kenya was lying about quote unquote her getting a scene or whatever it was. But then basically on live confirmed what Kenya was saying. You pay attention to her wording. And then she almost got caught in a lie. You know, that's up for debate whether people believe she was lying or not. Almost got caught in a lie, basically saying how Latoya, I believe it was Latoya was down in her area, I guess, trying to eat her out or whatever. But then at the same time, it's like 1 minute, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. 1 minute she said she don't remember, but then the next minute she remembered what happened and she was trying to make fun of Latoya. Whatever. I don't know. It's just a lot with her. And another one, and then go back, but not too far back, with the whole thing with Claudia Jordan. When Claudia Jordan let it be known that, you know, you ought to be messing with a married man, yada yada yada, da 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 da. And then, you know, I believe that was the shame that she lied so much. I don't know which one is which. I believe that's the one Claudia was like, you mess with a married man, da 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 da. And I know him, but then Portia talked about quote unquote, this is where we get into slander, da 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 da, X, Y, and Z. But if you pay attention, she never really fully denied those claims. If you never really pay attention, she never fully denied those claims of what Claudia was saying was not true. Yes, she said slander, but then Claudia basically told her, then hit me with a lawsuit then. And you see, nothing happened after that. Now, let's get into this whole thing about manipulation. The thing with her, and we can use the Marlo situation, for example, how my personal opinion is how she basically stopped being friends with Marlo because she got back cool with Kenya. And even when you paid attention to Portia's what's the thing called when they do the interviews? Confessionals or confessional interviews and stuff like that. She would say stuff not verbatim because you know I don't remember all the that's the thing. I do not remember the exact verbiage, but however, she would say stuff like, you know, Kenya got Marlo doing her dirty work on X, Y, and Z, or look at what Kenya's up to. Not exact words, but that's the essence of it. And the thing is that she didn't know that I believe it was Cynthia that had them make up. So that's that. And when it comes back to the manipulative thing, and this is what this is what I mean when I say sometimes these girls play the game, is that Portia's tactic is that she would do her dirt, but then when you confront her about it or you bring it up, then she wants to play victim. And if that doesn't work, then she starts to act clueless. And that's basically what I personally seen her do at the reunion. She plays victim and then she acts clueless. Oh my God, who said that? Girl, you said that. No shade. Now, even though I say that I'm undecided with, I think I'm gonna say this now before I forget because I haven't really write it down. But even though I said I'm undecided with Portia, I do believe she is good for the show because she does. With her, Kenya, I'm gonna say it like this. The three people I feel like are necessary for the Real Housewives of Atlanta are Kenya, Portia, Nene. Those three right there. Reason being, Portia and Kenya, they're gonna get into it. Nene and Kenya are gonna get into it because here's the thing: when Kenya wasn't on the show, in my personal opinion, I wasn't really interested in the show. I felt like it wasn't really much. Me personally, it was one season when Nene wasn't on the show, and it was a really good season, I will say. But keep in mind too, they had Phaedra, they had Portia, and other people on there. But this season, with Nene not really on the show, and in addition to the production cutting out scenes, I feel like necessary scenes, you know, I felt like her being part of the cast, 9 times 10 probably would have brought a little bit more conflict and storylines and stuff like that. But however, I'm not going to put this season too much on the give too much to the cast exactly for this season because it most likely was production. No shade. All right, what was I? Okay, we're gonna talk about Shamia. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I like Shamia. I I like her, and I like her and I dislike her. Now I'm gonna tell you why I like her. I like her because when she was getting into it with Phaedra, now this is the season I watched here and there, so I ain't fully see everything, but however I caught up later on. When she was getting into it with Phaedra, I like the spiciness that she had. I like the zest that she had behind her reads and stuff like that. So that part of Shimmy I like. I like that part of Shimmy. Now I don't know who else is gonna agree, or even she's gonna agree. I feel like me personally, I wouldn't mind getting to know Shamia as Shamia, possibly a housewife, instead of Shamia as friend of the show or Portia's best friend or quote unquote lapdog. Now, the reason why I dislike Shamia is because I do feel like she be really going hard for Portia and stuff like that. I would explain why that's going to be a bit of an issue. I want Shamia to come back, but however, I want her to come back as possibly as a peach holder. And I will actually, me personally, I'm actually interested in getting to know Shamia because she gave me that zest, she gave me that fire when it came to her in conflict. But that's the part that I like. But however, when it came down to her, quote unquote, being Portia's friend or whatever, I wasn't really feeling it too much. Now, it's nothing wrong with her being a friend of Portia, but and this also goes to the whole thing that she addressed. When it comes to her being quote unquote a lapdog, the thing is with her being quote unquote a lapdog. Hold up, water break. Mouth getting dry. Woo! Jesus. Now, okay. The whole thing about her being a lapdog is that it's nothing wrong with you defending your friend. It's nothing wrong with you having your best friends back 110%. But the thing is, the reason why people are starting to call you a lapdog, only because Portia in the viewer's eyes, now behind closed doors, I don't know. But in the viewer's eyes, she does not return that exact same energy. When it came down to your wedding, she treated you like she paid you dust. When it came down to between you and Phaedra, you can obviously tell there was a difference of energy that she treated with Phaedra than she treated with you. So the whole thing about you being 110% is like, oh, okay, that's good. That's a good friend quality. But however, Portia's not really giving the same energy. You get what I'm saying? Be honest with you. No shade. All right, let's talk about Kenya. Kenya, I like Kenya. Me personally, I like Kenya. Of course, bring her back. Oh, that's another thing too. Apparently, there's gonna be like an all-star Real Housewives of I'm about to say of Atlanta, Real Housewives All-Stars, something like that. And Kenya and Cynthia are both part of the show, apparently. I want to see. Well, I'm going to say this with Cynthia. I want to see what Cynthia brings or X, Y, and Z, because maybe she just needs to be in a whole new group of ladies, or they need to add some more people, and maybe that could bring other sides to Cynthia and stuff like that. Because I ain't gonna flex. I like gangster Cynthia. I like when she used to get them home together. No shade. And Kenya will also be part of that show. All right, so me personally, I like Kenya. I like Kenya. I'm not gonna sit up here and cap or front that Kenya has not done things that did not deserve your ass whooping. Has not done things that weren't that she made the best decisions. I'm gonna put it that way. That she has made. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie and act like she has made the best decisions in all situations. But however, I do believe that for me personally, I like the underdog. And the thing I liked about Kenya, no matter what, most reunions, I would say mostly all the reunions, it was just about her versus the whole cast. Just about. And I like the fact that she stood her ground no matter what. I feel like I feel like there's double standards when it comes to Kenya doing something and when it comes down to the other ladies doing something. When it comes down to the whole Bolo thing situation happening, when Kenya talked about it, it was a big issue. However, when other girls talked about it, and quote, I believe too, I'm really strong and I'm really banking on this. I really do believe this happened. Y'all forgive me, y'all, the gelato. Who got me burping? But I really do believe that some of the other girls were talking about it first. But then Kenya mentioned it X, Y, and Z. And there's double standards. I feel like when people talk about this girl code and stuff like that, you want her to have girl code for Portia, someone that she does not get along with, someone that if the roles were reversed, they would do the exact same thing, no shade. And you want her to have girl code for someone that literally looked her dead in her face either the night before or the night before that, and looked her dead in her face talking about, I don't want to hear your sob story, or I don't give a fuck about your sob story. So you want her to have girl code for her. Now, I can see if it was Candy, I can see it was Cynthia, I can understand that, but, or even Latoya, quote unquote. But, and actually, I'm not gonna take Latoya out, but I can see those ladies like Candy and Cynthia for sure. Latoya's up for debate. But Portia, you know, they really don't get along like that. And be quite honest with you, the reason why they're beefing now, currently now, or they have issues now is because of Portia. She the one that initiated it, because guess what? They was going good. They was hanging out. They had their children together. Da, da, da. But then when Nene got back in the picture, she kicked Kenya to the side. And the thing is too with Portia is that she has this thing where people can do it, but then when people can do it, it's an issue. But when she does it, they're supposed to be fine with it. And so Portia said this whole thing talking about, I didn't want to be your friend with you because I didn't like the way you treated other people, yada, 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 yada. So the question is, what did she do to you? She did nothing to you. Now, the thing is with that, there's nothing wrong with you saying, like, I don't like the way you treat people, that I'm not rocking like that. That's good. You can do that. But the thing is that, the thing with that is that when it comes down to you, even though the situation has nothing to do with you, you can say, okay, quote unquote, I'm not messing with you like that because you did X, Y, Z to this person. But however, people don't want Candy to defend Kenya, and you want her to stay neutral. So, you know, it's just that's one of the reasons I'm not really messing with Portia like that. That's me personally. Now let's talk about this whole thing with the relationship with her mother. People like to throw this really in Kenya's face a lot. And I feel like it's really back to the double standards and a lot of hypocrites, is because we can say that just about we can say that same thing about a lot of people within the cast. We can say the same thing about Marlo. We can say, you know, you have issues, you know, with X, Y, and Z because of the relationship of your mother with your mother. I believe she was in foster care. We can say the same thing about Marlo. We can say the same thing about who else on there. Who else got issues with their mama? Marlo. Let me look at this cast. Marlo, Candy, Portia, Drew, Cynthia, Shamia, Tank. I believe it's Portia. Was it Portia? It was somebody else within that cast. I'm missing one. I should wrote this down. But yeah, we can say a lot. We can say all those things about a lot of people within the cast. But however, people like to be quote unquote a therapist and stuff like that when it comes down to King. And that's the stuff I'll be like, girl, bye. Now they may be right, you know. Actually, when we completely honest, all of us probably are a little bit damaged from the way we are in a way. Now, some may be worse than others, and some may be in different areas when it comes down to us and our quote unquote trauma that and habits that we have to break as adults. Let's just be honest. Let me see. Y'all give me 1 minute. Before I even forget Tanya, I wasn't really a fan of Tanya. People liked her. I was never really a fan of her. I'll be fine if they just about don't bring her back. I'll be okay. Let's see. Candy, Latoya, Marlo, Shamia, Cynthia, Drew, Portia, It was somebody else, but I can't remember. All right, so okay, let's talk about this whole stripper gate thing. Now the whole thing about Kenya saying that the reason why she talked about it is because it was a cast house on a cast trip and X, Y, and Z. Now people are saying that she never should have talked about it only because the cameras were down. No, they weren't. Here's the thing with that is that yes, the cameraman left, but however, there were still cameras in the house. How do you think we seen footage? How do you think that we were able to at least know what Kenya was saying was somewhat factual when it came down to the bachelorette party being quote unquote crazy? And the thing is that Kenya said that the reason why she kept bringing it up and really did an investigation is because, for one, that it was speculation. Apparently, people wanted to sue her. And this goes back to the whole lying thing. If you know it's true, and be honest with you, me personally, I believe she had sex with Bolo. But I believe Candy and a little bit of Portia, they didn't say anything because they were trying to protect Bolo. I would say more of Candy was trying to protect Bolo. I think Portia just didn't want to own up to it. And at the same time, was trying to protect Bolo in the same token. I believe she didn't want to own up to it because her situation with Dennis and stuff like that. All right, so it was a cast house and stuff like that. And talking about, she never talked about it because the cameraman left. There were still cameras going on. You're still in the cast trip. They're still going to get footage. And the thing is about that is that this is not your first season. These type of mistakes are mistakes that rookies like Drew and Latoya will make. And Fallon. And by the way, I like Fallon too. Well, for what I've seen so far, I like her spiciness. But those are mistakes that rookies make. Portia, you making these type of mistakes, get together. And yeah, like I said, this whole girl code, y'all please get out of here with that, because even in my next video when I talk about Portia and Simon, we're gonna get a little bit into that girl code. But the whole thing is that this whole girl code thing, y'all only want it to work one way. If it's gonna be girl code, it's gonna work both ways. And plus, in order for it to be girl code, you have to be quote unquote friends with them. So get out of here with that. I'm done with that. All right, so let's get into Marlo. Marlo, I want Marlo to come back. I actually liked her this season. Some seasons she's like or some seasons she's like oh my god. So this season I actually liked Marlo. I like and dislike her in general, but for this season I liked her. I dislike her, I would say, when she's with Nene. When she's with Nene, I tend to see a side of Marlo I really don't like, me personally. But however, when I feel like when she's with Kenya, I see a different side to her. Or maybe that's the way it's just edited, or that's just my perspective, because I'm not really the biggest Nene fan, quote unquote. Okay, so Marlo ended up doing this a segment with Candy on Candy's show, whatever, on YouTube called Speak on It. And on the show, you find out a lot. You find a lot out about Marlo. What a break! My mouth's getting dry. You find out a lot about Marlo. Find out that she's in foster care, which was crazy to me. Well, let's get backpedal. Which is crazy to me how she talked about Kenya's mother when girl. But I'm gonna let that go. Once again, like I said before, there's double standard, and they try to use that against Kenya, but whatever. But you find a lot about Marlo, that she's in foster care. We actually find out what she does, because a lot of people had that little thing to go, what does she do? Like, what is her occupation? How does she make corn? Then from the alleged rumors of her being an escort and X, Y, and Z. And me actually watching that show, and be honest, I didn't really fully finish watching it, but me actually watching the show, it made me actually interested to know more about Marlo. And actually, I wouldn't mind even her having a peach or whatever, but so I can actually get a chance to fully get a chance to know Marlo for Marlo. Now, the thing with Marlo, this is my last thing before I get up out of here. The thing with Marlo that I don't like is that when she's mad at you, she cuts deep. She cuts deep. And people say there's no rules in fighting. Yeah, it's nice and all. She cuts deep, and then she will tell all your business. So for me personally, when it comes down to when people do that, it makes it hard for me, if I was in the other person's shoes, to fully trust you, because all it takes is for you to get mad at me one time. Next thing you know, all this quote unquote confidential stuff gets exposed to the whole world, which consists of people that don't fuck with me like that, people that don't see it for me like that, and people that really just do not want me to succeed. So that's the only thing. That's another thing with Marlo, is that when she gets mad at you, next thing you know, your business is getting told to the world. So that is one trait I do not like about Marlo. But I do want her to come back though in the end. Now, do I have anything else on my notes? Let's see. Okay, this is another thing, right before I get up out of here, is that with the whole thing with Phaedra's return, when I actually was looking at some people's comments, they were saying stuff like, "Oh, Candy need to get over it. We want Phaedra back." Y'all have lost every part of your everlasting mind. No shade. Y'all have lost every part of it. Reason why I say that is because this woman literally told a lie and tried to push a narrative that possibly, well, not possibly, would have ruined Candy's life and her businesses and livelihood and empire. And then Portia repeated that exact same thing. And there was another thing too, because I just thought about it and say it now. When they were on the reunion and Portia kept saying, "You're not going to keep talking about something that happened 4 years ago and still condemn me." Yes. The reason being is because guess what? I'm going to bring up something that happened 4 years ago to display that your behavior and your tactics have not changed. Now, however, if you have improved or made growth from that incident and stop doing the stuff that you'll normally do during the show and tell your quote unquote lies, then it would be out of pocket to continuously bring up the situation they had with Candy, especially if Candy has somewhat forgiven you and continue, or at least trying to forgive you, then people would kind of, my mind just went blank. Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, people it would be out of pocket for people to continuously bring that up. No shade. So that is it for my commentary video for you guys today. Please make sure you guys pop that like button, hit the subscribe button, and please smash the notification bell so do not miss any more posts from me. Till next time, guys, I will see you guys later.
Word.